4, 3.
What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday. It's another edition of Well That Effing Figures, and tonight I'm with Colin as usual. And tonight we have a special guest. We have two special guests, maybe three. Another one coming. Old Tom Solo is here,
What's
and
up?
Derek, his partner in crime.
Hello.
Together they build dioramas, toy photography, and I know Tom Solo, you're a Star Wars fan. I don't know about Derek, but yeah, what's up, guys? Just tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do.
Yeah, so I've always had like photography as a hobby. Dating back to like when I was a kid, like in high school. But like the Star Wars thing kind of meshed in like after a trip to Disney with my wife and her family.
Mhm.
I hadn't been there in years, and I was like totally against it. So we go to Galaxy's Edge, and I'm like, yeah, these are my people. This is awesome. So like, what do we do here? And ride the rides, blah blah blah. But I saw the figures, right? And I'm like, that's cool. I'll get that. Han Solo, whatever. And I'm like, now what do I do with it, right? Like it's just sitting on the shelf collecting dust. So I started looking on Instagram and like what people do with these action figures.
Mhm.
I discovered this whole subculture of people that make awesome like action shots or portraits with their action figures. And I'm like, oh, we opening up a new bank account and getting started right away because this is awesome. And that's basically where it started. And from there, it just became dioramas, props, anything you could throw into a scene to just make it stand out, make it look cool or at least legitimate.
Yeah, man.
So are you doing that like full time now, or is that like a part time thing?
Yeah, I mean it's summertime now, right? The pool's open. We got people here every weekend, so I work when I can, but it's not going to take over my day job. That's for sure.
Oh, I got you.
Never know. Never say
You never
never.
know. You never know.
Never say never. I mean, from what I've seen in person, at the show I met you at, I know I instantly, and you know this for a fact because I came back 3-4 times to look at that same piece. I really like what you do. I mean, there's a lot of people who make dioramas, and a lot of people we know make nice dioramas. But to see it in person, I
Right.
think this is one of the very few times I've seen one in person, and it was so well done.
Thank
And
you.
that's why I came back 3-4 times, and then I lollygagged and I lost out on it. But we're still going to work something out. But yeah. So photography wise, is that where it comes into play too, where you make the diorama and then you take the pictures of what you have imagined in your head with that diorama?
So that's really where like him and Tom will come
Okay.
in, right? Like I'll have like these creative streaks where on it, right? Usually like when the weather's cooler or it's like miserable outside, right? I'll just be building or thinking or jotting down notes. And I'm like, hey guys, let's get together and shoot. And they'll come by, I'll set something up that I had in my head, and they're like, yeah, this is really good and everything. But like, what if you did it like this? And then of course that's usually the end product. So I got to give them like a lot of creative not direction, but I guess just free will to just do whatever, knock the figures over that I took an hour and a half to pose. But it usually ends up working out for us, as you can see, like not only from the photos that we shared, but the photos on Instagram too, right? Like, I mean, we get a lot of traction on those because they're unique. They're not something that it's not something that already exists, right? Like it's like original content for the most part. Some of it's borrowed.
There's kind of what we kind of do with it is it's almost as if we're making our own little screenplay to create these environments.
Mm-hmm.
So myself, and the Toms, we have like a group text that we kind of go back and forth with kind of situations, scenarios. I think GameStop a couple weeks ago had this ridiculous sale that, of course, burned a hole in my pocket. where it was like buy two get one. So I bought how many?
A battalion's worth of clone
Yeah,
troopers?
like I bought like 13th Battalion or
missed
Iron
that stuff.
Battalion clone troopers. So I texted him. I'm like, I don't know what we are gonna do with all of this, and you know, we used one of his dioramas. We kind of came up with a script idea where it was the aftermath of Braca?
Braca,
Yeah, the aftermath of the big junkyard planet that Cal Kestis is on.
Mhm.
The aftermath of the battle, and one of the B-roll shots, I think, was a severed battle droid's head,
Yeah,
and they
like
were just kind of
sparking,
like stepping on it. It was sparking everywhere, and you know, kind of like kick the can after the battle and stuff. So
Nice.
we
Yeah,
like,
but it's cool because
yeah.
like, you know, because it's got like sort of a military theme to it, like you know what it's like after actions, right? Like me specifically, like I was in the army, so after the battle or the engagement's over, like everybody's just kind of standing around waiting for orders, and then inevitably someone will come up and be like, all right, you know, let's say we were just like, yeah, this guy's going to be the spotlighter here, and he'll be yelling at everybody, and this guy's just kind of like, yo, let's relax, dude.
Yeah.
All right, we got time.
Yeah, we were just before we logged on with you guys. We were looking at some photos of Tom, you know, when he was in the military, spent with his friends.
Yeah.
They're really, you know, kind of heartfelt and warming, and we kind of want to, not all the time, but we try to incorporate like a band of brothers aspect within the Star Wars lore, if you will, because the clone troopers. I'm sorry, I'm nerding out, but I guess that's kind of what we do. The clone troopers have like this bond that like is almost, you can't rip it apart no matter what their inhibitor chip says, you know.
Yeah.
during Order 66. But that's something that we want to establish is like a sort of camaraderie within.
Yeah, no,
those
I
shots.
definitely feel that. I don't think we've actually discussed it until this moment.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but it's something I noticed.
yeah, no,
that we
it's
kind of
cool.
linked
Yeah,
with our
I think we
photos.
definitely try to capture that more often than not when we do clones, trooper shoots, stuff like that.
Droids. Not enough droids.
Oh, you mean like battle droids?
Mm-hmm. Well, we had the K2, the security droids. Yeah. Well, we won't go into that.
No.
But anyway, sorry.
It sounds like the rest of the community, like the toy community in general, how we all, for the most part, there are some people out there who try to do division, but for the most part, it's a good community, and it sounds like you guys have the same thing within what you guys do too. So that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, and like that's one of the things I think that really kept me going with this. Like I could have, you know, taken a few shots with my iPhone, posted them, and like gotten minimal traction and gone, all right, well, that's it, I'm done. And then you see accounts like Black Series, you see accounts like Kill Cutter, you see accounts where like guys like are superiorly technical with their photography and like post editing ability. You're like, oh my god, like how did that guy do that, dude? And like reach out to him, right? And you're like, this guy's gonna be, get out of here, noob. You know, like I don't want anything to. And every single time I've reached out to a fellow toy photographer, they've always been like extremely responsive, first of all. And then secondly, they've always been like supportive. So you find that camaraderie not only in the shoots, right? But like also in the community. And I think that's one of the big draws, especially for me, is that sense of tribe, like post military. Yeah. Like that you get. But even here too. Like, well, Tom's not here, but
He's at band practice.
yeah, he'll be here eventually.
Band camp.
Yes, yeah. On SoundCloud.
He is.
So how long have you guys been doing this for?
So I started doing toy photography 2 years ago. I think is when I started my account, and you know, it was just like minimal iPhone shots. Like I got ROTJ Boba Fett, like 40th N, like when that dropped. And he's my favorite character. So I was like losing my mind. You know, he came with all this great stuff. And like, I didn't know if that was like a fair price then. Now I can tell you it is not. But like, you know, I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I love this. This is so great. Like, nothing will top this. And then it just took off from there. And since then, like I've upgraded equipment, lighting, built more elaborate sets, more modular sets, like just learn this whole skill set inside of basically what is just a collecting hobby. So it's really incredible to not only like collect, but also learn all these other facets of the hobby.
Oh, definitely. So, were you collecting before
Not
the
really.
photography?
I mean, not at all. Like I got, I think, like a Han Solo, and then I bought that Boba Fett, and that's when I found toy photography on Instagram, basically. And I was like, "What the hell is this? This looks amazing." I'm like, "Is this from the movie?" No, it's not, dude. It's an action figure. So of course, I'm like, "How do I find more of these action figures? And like, what are you doing to create like this backdrop or whatever?" And from that, I basically just reached out to the community and self-taught painting, customizing, diorama building, like all that stuff, man. And it's just, it never ends, and it can be like extremely overwhelming at
It
times.
is.
It's a total mess, but I love it. I wouldn't trade
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely. I know. I've been collecting for a long time, but I swear, like all the diorama and the photography stuff. From what I've saw, I pretty much started like in my just a few years ago. I mean, before that, I didn't know anybody that did dioramas or was taking pictures of their action figures, and
Right.
it just added so much more to it. And like you said, yeah, it's fun to learn this stuff. I'm giving a crack at a diorama right now, and I mean, it's
I'd love to see it.
honestly not that it's easy, but it's easier than I thought
Right.
it would be, like teaching yourself, and if you mess up, you can fix it. I mean, there's actually a couple guys in the chat right now that are awesome diorama builders and customizers. I want to say what's up to Joel Hazy. Duffman's here. If you ever get a chance, go check out their stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They do
I love
some awesome
following
work.
other accounts like that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Those two are really, really, really awesome and good people too. So it's it's really great.
Yeah.
I was looking at one particularly that stuck out, and it's one of your newer pictures. It's of the Bad Batch on the wire, and I love just this. I don't know how you did that backdrop, but like it actually, I can see these guys like just climbing across the rope. That's
Right.
what,
Like it's like a
it's so realistic.
like a
to me.
commando propaganda like poster or something from like World War II, right? And like when you think of like those old movies like Dirty Dozen, what's the other one? Like Devil's Brigade, like like one guy is the genius, one guy's the leader, one guy's the strong man. Like that's all the Bad Batch is, but it's in a Star Wars universe, and it's like, dude, we have so many applications we could set these guys up in just based off of material that's already out there. That's what I came up with, like just kind of on a whim. So it's just straight like thick gauge electrical wire to make it look like rope stretched out between two extendable tripods with weights on them, and then it just looks like they're crawling across like on a commando mission.
That's awesome.
And a lot of your dioramas can be used for any type of, it looks like for a lot of different action figure types. I mean, the Mythic Legions, I'm saying that because Josh Pence, what's up? He's in the chat. What's up to Collector Safe Space? Thanks for joining.
What's going on?
But the Mythic Legions are big right now. So even the one that you're working on for me could be used for like a Mythic Legion or other things. It doesn't necessarily have to be Star Wars for what like I'm using it for. Can you go into that a little bit? Like there's so many things that you can use these for. It doesn't really even matter like what genre of toy it is,
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, and it's funny that you mentioned that because when we met on the 18th of June, I had so many people come up to me and go, well, can you do G.I. Joe? Can you do, Marvel? Can you do, and I'm like, you can basically just use this for anything. Hey, like it's not just a standalone. It doesn't say Star Wars and like have scrolling text, like on the box or anything. Like it's interchangeable. So really, I try to build them in the scale that I collect most, which is 1/12 or 6-inch scale, Black Series scale. But But I mean, like scaling down would be probably much simpler. Scaling up would actually be even easier because you can't take up like you could build like a 1/6 scale diorama at that size, but it would be
It'd be massive.
twice the size. So it's going to take up a lot of room.
Yeah.
You got to think about storage, display, etc. So
Right.
it seems like that 1/12 scale is really kind of a happy medium between the smaller figures at 3 3/4 and the bigger guys at 6 scale. So yeah, I mean you could basically just put any action figure in there if you're just displaying or even for photography.
Right.
I would love to see some of my dioramas in someone else's like photography. That would be incredible.
Yeah,
That'd
because
be like
it's going to be all different. I mean,
Yeah.
I think no two would be the same.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's kind of the beauty of it,
That's
right?
the beauty of it. Yeah, and you just change a little accessory here or there,
Yeah,
or
like
add
a
something,
freebie or a
or-
prop. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you could take your whole Tatooine diorama and just turn it into an Indiana Jones since they're coming out.
I've done
just
that.
take out
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I did do that. Yeah, that archway behind me,
Yeah,
I
I did.
used for an Indiana Jones shoot because it's dangerous.
This one here
No, it's the bigger one.
is the big one. It's too far, but it's over there.
We have short arms.
Yeah.
Stay true.
Well, we can actually pull up some of your stuff and
Yeah.
let's do that.
While he does that, I just wanted to say, like, I don't know about dioramas too much because like I said, I haven't seen too many in person. But the fact that they magnetize together, the ones you make, and you can store them just in case you want to do something a little different or use something different later on. They store pretty easily as well. They don't take up too much space when you try.
Yeah,
to
so
put them
they
down.
that was
Pretty
a that was a trade secret I learned like maybe a year ago.
Mhm.
Is if you're setting up for shoots like they would do in like Hollywood or whatever, they would use CGI in Hollywood, but you want it to flat pack so that you can store it, or like in our case, like you live a couple states away, right? So I could very well drive that down to you, but like I'll likely ship it so I can flat pack that, and when you get it, it's a no-brainer on how it goes together, right? Which is why you'll also see the subtleties in the detail, like that paint line or paint stripe that goes through the diorama. It's almost like a numbering system in that sense, that you just clip it all together and now you know what goes where, and you can't mess it up.
Right.
And it's very strong.
Yeah, because you did take the one when I was there apart a little bit, and I was like, wow, that makes it so much easier for shipping and for storage or whatever. And that was another part that kind of sold me when I kept coming back looking at it, was like, wow, I can, even if I don't want to keep this out all the time and I want to change things up, I can do that and know that I'm not going to screw this up later when I put it back together. So that's definitely a great idea.
It's a concept that I've been working on for like probably a year, because when I first started building them, they were not that way. They were just big chunks of like drywall, plaster, sand, paint, plastic, PLA, resin, whatever. And I'm like, everything was secured. And I'm like, dude, there's got to be a better way. And I saw someone just cut magnets into XPS foam. I'm like, that's genius. Like, then you can just literally take it apart, flatten it, put it in like a furnace closet. And when you need it, it can come out. And when you don't, it can just stay back there.
Yeah.
Just get
So are you 3D printing as well?
No. So like we discussed this a lot actually, because it's really the next probable step in diorama building, which is just to print your own props, doors, greeblies, things like that, and just make them yourself. Now it's time consuming, and the really good 3D printers in the community are excellent. And then there are some that are mid-level, and then there are some that are just starting. But to get really good 3D prints, you pay a lot of money for them. And they come in different, states of completion, right? You can get them raw, where you have to refinish everything. You can get them finished, which is obviously the most expensive. And then it comes down to material. Is it PLA? Is it resin? Is it, and size? It's a lot. So with the photography, the custom figures, the diorama building,
It's a lot.
painting all of that. I think I'm maxed out on a few.
Yeah.
We might. I don't know.
We'll probably
We
do
throw
it.
it around. One of them needs to take over and
Right.
control it.
I met a guy in Ollie's the other day. His name was Damon. He runs this small clandestine Facebook group where he tries to eliminate all of the vitriolic fan base. You know, where it can get a little rude, if you will. You know,
No.
no, not at all.
Star Wars?
Yeah, Star Wars.
No.
No.
But I met him. We were just like kind of scanning the aisles and Ollie's because they've been getting huge waves of stuff. And he told me that he was a 3D printer hobbyist. So
That's right.
yeah, I met him. We can probably use him. Not
We
use
can-
him.
we can throw in some
yeah,
work,
we want to be boys with Damon essentially to see where both of us can kind of grow as far as skill set and everything. So
We can
Shout
entice
out to
him with a-
Damon.
with a pool day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Damon.
wherever you are. Anyway,
A day by the pool, Damon?
yeah,
For
bring him by the
some,
pool.
some
Yeah, give him
one
some
small
milk.
scale doors.
Some blue milk and hang out by the pool.
All right. So what do you got? Is this some of your photography right here?
Yeah, so this is actually this diorama I did not build, right? This is who makes this? Damn, I forget. But it's called the Ubiquitous, and basically it's almost like a puzzle that you put together, and you can just build out different scenes with it, and it's plastic, so it's just all I think it's probably injection molded, and you can just create whatever you like with it, and it's really cool. So I just created the interior of a ship because it was the most basic shape that you could build, but then I threw in the Mafex Boba interrogating Evazan, and I was just like, well, this would probably sell, like we never saw that. Like we saw Boba in A New Hope in the recut, but we never saw him. Like, how do you figure out where they were going, right? So I just thought that was kind of like a neat idea. You have him strung up and he's interrogating him. He's where is Solo taking these people?
Right. Yeah, it's awesome.
Dude. Like, I don't think you know him.
It's a nice looking Boba figure.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Mafex Boba is probably the best one out there. That Return of the Jedi Boba's, like, I was talking about the Black Series 40th N when I got that, and then I found several reviews. One was Figuarts, and the final one I saw was that. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I got the Figuarts, loved that one, and then I got the Mafex like a year later, and I was like, no, this is the superior Boba here.
It looks good. I've never seen it like
Yeah, it does
at
look
all,
good.
So
Damn, I
might
wish
have
I
to
had
look
it
for
down
that one.
here. It's actually up in my office. I would have displayed it.
Liking that.
Yeah, it is nice.
The diorama that's back there, how you just snapping it together. It looks pretty cool for
Yeah, it looks like a movie set. Like
It does.
Right.
It
really does.
That canon.
All right.
I shouldn't say that. I'll get
No,
eaten
yeah.
alive.
But you did blur that Evazan really good. It looks like he's like in front of a green screen kind of thing.
Really?
Yeah. Look at it again. It looks really good.
So this is obviously the armor. It's just the Black Series version of her, the original. And I had seen a bunch of people start to like amass their armor shots on Instagram, and I was like, oh, let me take a stab. And I was working with like a lot of light, and I see that like a lot of people use what is that aerosol spray stuff that people use? I forget what it's called, but
missed.
yeah. And like, I don't have any of that. Right. So I was like, well, let me see what I could do, with like a brush pack and just some like real quick, like lens flares. So the light beams, the fog, and the lens flare are all obviously added in post. But I just thought like just her kind of solo was how the series was leaning. Like they kind of had her set up to sort of like lead the Mandalorian, and that's how I felt it was going to go. It didn't, obviously, but I just thought it was a really sick shot.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
looks
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you got that smoke, but you just explained it. That's pretty cool to come up with something like that. It's awesome.
I've been meaning to pick up some of that atmosphere in a can.
Yeah, atmosphere aerosol is what it's called. Yeah,
Where do you get all this stuff? Like a Hobby Lobby type place or
Amazon.
like Amazon? Yeah. How stupid of me.
Ooh, I
Nobody
like
goes
this
to the
one.
store anymore.
No, I hit Hobby Lobby constantly. Like
Yeah.
I'm always there. Yeah, so like again, this was like early on, I think,
I like this one
Mando,
too.
Yeah, it
and
looks really good.
R5 Mando hadn't been dropped, and I didn't have one from that series. I only had like the Galaxy's Edge one or
Not enough
whatever.
droids, I'm telling
And
you.
what I did here was we brought the TV from the studio, which is just my basement, and we put it behind the figures. And like I've seen people do this with computer monitors, which are extremely high resolution, and they just call it a diorama, right? So instead of like throwing a bunch of stuff together to look like Coruscant, they just use like open source artwork for the backdrop. And that's all I did here with the art direction of Mr. Tom Mallory, who's not here right now. And then again, like in post, added some lens flares. And when I sent this to you the other day, I was like critiquing my own work, which I should stop doing. But the lighting on both of them, the magenta and the yellow, that's all physical. That's not post. So you get a good mix of the post photography and then like the actual lighting and setup of the shot in this one, I think.
Looks great. I love it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
All right.
This one didn't get a ton of traction. I guess it's because people were hating on Mando season 3, but I actually probably actually sent this Bo-Katan head to a guy I met on Instagram who's in Taiwan, Uncle Sam Cantina, and he repainted her to make her look like Katie Sackhoff. And I was like, all right, dude, we'll see what you can do. You know, like, I don't really care. She's going to have her helmet on 90% of the time. And then he sent it back, and I was like, she's never going to have her helmet.
Yeah, right.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, at that scale, to get that much realism out of what is the original Hasbro sculpt. All he did was repaint it and add detail. And I was like, dude, I was like blown away. And I sent him that, a Moff Gideon, and then I have a Jaina Solo that he did, and he blew them all out of the water. So if there are people out there that want custom like repaints of their Star Wars stuff, go to him. He's unbelievable. Like, it's going to take some time, but it is well worth it.
You got constant packages going there now?
I've got constant packages coming from Spain. I've got constant packages coming from Russia. I've got constant packages coming from Taiwan. Yeah, all over.
Right.
And China. Like, I've got the whole Pacific Rim.
Plus the Amazon packages.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah,
Well, yeah, you don't want to leave anybody out, you know.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff's got to get his cut.
Right. Right. That's funny. Ooh.
Oh, this one looks like it's going to be really nice. Look at that.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is original resolution, unfortunately, but like, this was a grail figure for me. I saw this Clone Commander Obi-Wan, I think, at a con a year and a half ago. And Tom, who's not here, was with me. I was like, dude, what is that Obi-Wan? He's a Clone Commander Obi-Wan, man. He's like, it's like super expensive figure. You can hardly find it anywhere. And I asked the booth selling it what they wanted for it, and they wanted like, I don't know, $150. And I think I brought $200, right? And I was like, I'll be back, right? Like, I pulled a JMC collects on him.
You did, yeah. I'll be back 4 times.
I never came back, and I'm glad I didn't, because I found a loose Hunter and a loose Crosshair at that same show for very low. And my wife actually got me the figure for Christmas, like as a surprise. So she was in touch with Tom. He told her where to go to get it, and she got it for me. And I was like, it was literally a kid on Christmas. I was like, I'm like, no way you found this. Like, how did you find this? And then I ripped open the Hot Toys Darth Vader, and I was like, this is why I married you. And you're gorgeous, but like, you know, this is also why I married you. So, yeah, like this, I was just messing around with him. I had him posed out of box, of course, because I'm a savage. And he fell. Not far, but he fell, and he landed in that pose. So I was like, whoa, I was like, this is really cool. I wonder if I could get him to stand on his own. And of course I did. I'm like, all right, yeah, I could shoot this. And then let's see what that would look like on his own. Looked okay. And I'm like, all right, well, we need to add something here. So I was like, dude, he's just going to be beheading this battle droid. Clank is not about it. So we just threw some motion blur on a clanker head and some sparks. Lit I think like Matt Ma was the guy, Amusing King is his Instagram. He had like this whole lightsaber tutorial for Photoshop. And I'm like, yeah, I got to know how to do this, because it looked like what I was doing was not as good as his. So it shows you how to like light the ground and like light the actual figure and like all this other stuff. And I was like, perfect. And I just threw it together and again, added some dust in there, and that's what you get. So you get Obi-Wan in action, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, that one's really nice. I like that. Good job on that.
Is the background stuff, is that some of your work?
So no, so the guy that does all my tattoos, his name's Glenn Castaway. He actually, that's a commissioned backdrop. So I wanted a desert scene backdrop that I could sort of interchange just based on the foreground items. And I've actually used it in like quite a few shots. I don't know if people really pick up on it or not, but this was the first time I had used it. So I didn't really understand like the depth of field for shooting something like absolutely flat. And I don't know, when I look at it, it doesn't sell the greatest, but it certainly like gives it that depth that it needs, right? Like Obi-Wan's like in some barren wasteland alone, and there's obviously battle droids there. He's got to figure this out, and it looks like he's handling himself pretty okay.
Oh, heck yeah, it does definitely shows some depth for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the packages coming from all over the places, I want to know why. I'll order something from a town over, but my packages from China will come faster.
Well, they want your business,
right?
Yeah. Whoever doesn't care if they keep your business, they're going to get it regardless. But what do they always say? It's not blockchain, supply chain.
Supply chain.
Yeah, supply chain.
Mail. I mean,
yeah, right. Supply chain.
I used to work in Philadelphia and have to send letters to another zip code in Philadelphia, and to track it, it would go from my mailbox in Philly to Indiana to Maryland, and then back to the zip code in Philadelphia. So I don't understand the U.S. Postal Service.
That sounds official.
Yeah. You know, I guess they're doing their due diligence or something. I just work.
I don't know. I think all the postal service, UPS, all of them are kind of. UPS does good here.
Yeah,
USPS is the worst in my area. It's like, yeah, it's they lose stuff. They say it's delivered. It's not. It's a nightmare.
Well, my favorite is they'll lose something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get a refund for it if it doesn't show up in 9 years. Yeah. And then, obviously what I ordered, I need. So I reorder it, and then they both show up on the same day.
There you go.
So figure
That's
that one.
Another problem.
Yeah, there you go.
That is a good one. I love Amazon where they'll say it's coming, and like, oh no, it's delayed. Oh, if it's not here by this date, and then this is already like 2 weeks of delays. Then they give me the message: if it's not here by this date, you can come back for a refund. It's like, no, I don't want to. I ordered it from you for a reason.
It's paper plates. Like I just didn't want to go to the store, and you're making this more difficult than it is.
I had these 2 weeks ago. Like Jesus.
Yeah. No, now it's just because.
So yeah, good. So yeah, this one, so you see like the rock faces and stuff like that. Like those are all reused like very heavily for outdoor scenes because we shoot indoors. And again, like I just wanted that commando look and feel, but like not too Star Wars, right? Like, you know, obviously Echo or Tech would just be like, oh, grappling hook and just go up. Everybody would fly up there. But I wanted to bring it kind of back to, you know, golden era of like the commando film. So I found an image online of some British commandos like training or something like that. It was like an illustration. And I tried to recreate that as best I could. But then again, through Photoshop and like post, it was easy to throw in, you know, like the glare of like Tech's wrist computer, RIP. But like, you know, and then just like the glare on his goggles too is just, it's the same brush, you know, or you just kind of duplicate that layer and shrink it down. And it's that simple to make it look like he's actually wearing some kind of Star Wars tech.
So this is that picture you were talking about. This looks
Yeah, I like this one.
Definitely.
It looks so realistic. This one here.
Yeah, I think the lighting certainly has a lot to do with it.
Definitely.
Oh,
This is the one I was actually.
Oh, this
talking
is the
about.
one you're talking about.
This is the one I was, but the other one's pretty similar. But this is the one that like I could almost see these guys like crawling across this wire. It's like,
right.
It's so realistic, man.
So I'd seen, I hate that I can't ever remember like their handles, but I'd seen an artist do a rendition of the Bad Batch, but they're doing the like where the Lost Boys are kind of like strolling, like hopping through the forest and stuff from Peter Pan, the animated movie.
Mm-hmm.
He had recreated that with the figures. And I was like, dude, that's such a cool, like original, nostalgic idea. How can I like sort of do something similar, but use this commando feel? Right. So this was taken at like, I don't know, 1 PM, but all I did was light everything blue to make it look like nighttime. So, you know, just by changing the light sets and like the color and the brightness and stuff, like you can really kind of add that effect to it. And then in post, it's always easier to make things darker than brighter. So if you light everything like as bright as it needs to be, then making it look like night when you're editing the photo afterwards is so much easier. And then, you know, I think the backdrop is just a star, like a open source star backdrop with
this
cloud.
This one right here blows me away. That was by far, they're all good, but that one by far is for some reason it just sticks out and is my favorite.
Thanks. Yeah, my wife wants me to start like putting prints up for sale, and I think that's a cool idea.
That is.
So I may begin doing that. I don't know yet. Like I said, we have so much stuff going on.
That would be a cool print. I would definitely buy one of those.
Yeah, I think that would be mine too for sure. I love that. It's so realistic looking.
This is cool looking too, though. I mean,
I just posing your figures like this. I have a hard time making the bastard stand up, so I don't even know like how you begin like posing them.
It's definitely like one of the things I tend to excel at in the group is getting them to stay up without stands. So someone had posted a shot of. Have you ever seen the hell's that rabbit's name?
Oh, like
Jackson Rabbit.
Yeah.
Someone had posted him on Easter with like a bunch of those like malted milk Easter candies in his arms, and he was like shooting, and he's on one foot. And then they did the BTS, and I expected him to have like a wire that they edited out later, and he didn't. And I was like, this is nuts. Like, how did you get that pose? And that's when I started to really think about like how posing the figures really translates into the realistic aspect of it, right? Like not everybody's just standing there with their elbows like cocked out looking, you know, stupid, you know. So it's when you get them to kind of like flow in the image, I think that again, like that sells too. Like even the stormtrooper.
That's what I was going to say next. The stormtrooper. Like how the hell did you do that? Like,
so he's actually holding that other figure up.
Okay.
It's just the angle makes it look like he's like, you know, breaking his neck.
A lot of the times when we're doing these shoots, we kind of feel like we're part of the image as well. So we start recreating how somebody would be holding the gun, how you have to arch your back and your leg and everything.
Right.
It gets really immersive, surprisingly, and it almost like feels like you're actually like part of the galaxy itself, which is kind of what we want.
Yeah.
As much as
Yeah, I mean, that's
as
where we're
close
at
as we
with it.
can get to being there.
Till Lucasfilm's not going.
Yeah, Skywalker Ranch.
But yeah,
It's
like
almost
that.
like you said earlier. Like it's almost like you're part of a movie. Like you're
Yeah.
setting up. Yeah, like you're setting up for
Right.
a movie or something.
And so like we liken it to like how artists have like the articulation figure when they're sketching, right, to get down like human movement and things like that. Like we try and like mimic that with just like a broom, right? Like your guy's not going to hold his blaster like up here or like like over his head or like just kind of down by his side. Like you want it to look natural. So like we'll even like walk around the room and go, look at how my hands are positioned. They're not out, they're not overly in, they're just it's a lot. So we try to get it right.
We try to get it right, but they also need to kind of give you more hand options in the figures because it's a lot of trigger finger.
Well, let's look at the photos before we start bashing.
Okay. Yeah, you gotta love the trigger fingers. We'll say that for later. But
Actually,
I got a question for you, real quick. Someone in the chat, and you would do a lot of Star Wars stuff. Now, if someone, because T3 Collects here, he said he was asking about Marvel dioramas. Like if somebody came to you and they wanted like an animated Spider-Man diorama, is that something you would do?
Oh yeah. I would at least try it. Yeah, I mean, like I can't nail everything on the first time, right? But if they give me an idea of what it is that they want, like if it's Into the Spider-Verse,
Across the Spider-Verse,
is it?
I don't know. Across the Universe.
What is the movie? I saw it. I loved it. This is not my.
The first one was Into the Spider-Verse. The second one was Across the Spider-Verse. I don't know.
Got me. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah.
I'm out of the loop.
Into Across.
Somewhere in the multi.
Yeah, no, I'd absolutely take a stab at that. Like if we're doing cityscape though, and like we need like a ton of bricks carved, and like obviously you're gonna need to grout that, and you're gonna need to do a lot of stuff that is time consuming, right? So time equals money, unfortunately. But if it's animated and we could kind of get away with just using paint and like a heavier outline, like Sharpie or something, just to kind of sell the effect of it being animated, I think that I would definitely be up for that. At least trying it.
Nice. So
there you go, T3.
There you go.
Hit them up.
Yeah, Old Time Follow on Instagram.
I got to ask you two things in this picture we have up. The way you have Bo-Katan posed is so realistic.
Yeah.
And then just the laser beams. Like, what did you use? And maybe you did already say this, but what did you use to create that in this picture?
So I just found like a cache of blaster bolts online, right? And they're just flat 2D blaster bolts, and it took a long time, but basically I tried to understand like what that would look like spreading out from a single point perspective, because it's obviously a 3D image. So it took a lot of understanding the perspective of the viewer and how we're below like their eye line to where the blaster would actually, like the direction of it, right? Based on where the weapon's pointed and the direction they're moving. And then from there, basically just experimented with different angles and perspective. And I think like the actual Photoshop format of this image has like 70 layers of just blaster stuff. So like muzzle flashes, like even the little like smoke in the guy on the left's like blaster beam, like that's added. So it takes a lot, right? And you have to really have like a keen eye, and you have to walk away from it a lot too. You don't want to just sit there and grind. Like it's not Call of Duty. So, like you need to just like leave it for a minute, go work on something else, go do something else, and then come back to it. And then like 9 out of 10 times you'll get it right after that.
There's a lot going on in that picture. The more I
yeah.
look at it, there's a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah,
that's
so a
out
buddy
there.
of mine actually printed that diorama for me, the
Mhm.
the Venator diorama raw. It's a raw print. Nathan Kuzik, his prints are unreal, man. He's actually got a 1/12 scale ATST that he's printing for
Oh, wow.
people. He's got one for me that I had to send back to him that he's working on. But yeah, I mean, I basically just sanded everything, painted everything, and then he gave me the instructions on like how to build this, put it together. And I took a long time to get it done because it has to be what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't want to say industrial, but like institutional, right? Like it can't
Mhm.
look like Tatooine. It has to look prefabbed. So it definitely came out well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So them chasing the meth droid. Yeah.
These
Yeah.
all look good. They're like he said, there's a lot going on, but it's not like overdone. Like
No,
it's like
no.
perfect.
When I said there's a lot going on, I meant like the smoke, the laser, stormtrooper falling backwards. I mean, there's a
They're
lot
not like
of
overcrowded or
yeah,
anything.
no, not at
Yeah.
all. There's a lot
Yeah.
of time and effort put into it. There's so much going on in one shot
Mm-hmm.
that to me it just seems like it would take, and it probably does, hours, days, whatever, to recreate what you exactly want. And that's what I meant by that, not by overcrowded at all.
Yeah, good.
That's the same diorama as the last one too, eh?
Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
the Venator, and this is actually, I think, one of the first ones Tom and I collaborated on because he had BT and then 000, and I love that story arc, right? The Afra story arc, and how she has basically an R2 and a 3PO, but they're like dark, right?
Mhm.
They're like goth.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, dude, that's so sick. So I was like, bring them over and we'll shoot them. And I wanted to make them look alive, right? Because the paint is cool on them and stuff, but droids have lights. Droids have life to them a bit, even though it's artificial. And because we had to have them chasing something that was like obviously smaller than them. I think the mouse droid's really all we actually had to like sub in there. And I was like, all right, dude, well, we'll like tag them up here. Oh, Tom's here, everybody. Finally.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
He's just a little late.
Camp's over. Good. All right.
But like, so what is it? BT is actually held up with like a watch repair clip. And then we did pose 000. His foot is anchored to something, and that's why the mouse droid is where it is, so you can't see it.
It looks great. I love it.
It does. I'm waiting for him to fall. Like,
right,
it's so realistic. I'm just waiting for him to fall.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
And sometimes posing those figures takes a long time, though.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and they do fall. They fall a lot, and like really, it's always someone's like it's never talked about, but it's always one guy's responsibility to be the level head. It's okay, chill, man. We're having fun.
Keep your finger on it.
Yeah, and everybody else is like mad.
I was gonna say,
yeah, cursing, throwing shit.
Level head.
No, you chip in.
I get mad.
You do.
That would be me. I have no patience.
Oh, this is one of my favorite Hasbro, the Black Series figures of the year last year.
Cobb Van,
yeah. So this is actually repainted a bit. So it's definitely washed. It's definitely weathered. And then his like handkerchief or scarf, whatever they call it, cravat, is the same material that canopy is. So I was like, all right, cool. We can play that off of this, but I had just built the diorama that's in the background. And I was like, dude, that looks like where the hell they live? No, yeah, but what's the town?
It's not Mos Espa, I forget.
Yeah.
They like rename it Freedom Town.
Freetown or some crap. But yeah, I was like, that's sick. And then this was actually one of the first ones I posted that got reshared by like an account that does that. So that was really fun. Like that was really cool experience to like have someone recognize that and like get a lot of traction on it. So I wasn't just out here wasting my time. It's good to know that I have some skill.
Oh, I definitely think you'll be getting more shares as you go.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, I love that stuff.
Definitely. Yeah, if you started selling these prints too, I would definitely pick up a few because I really like this one. This one's cool.
Thanks. No, I'm glad you do. Yeah, I really like the Cobb Vanth arc, and I hope we see him again. I just don't know where we'll see him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Oh,
yeah, my goodness. I'd buy this one. this got me written all over it, man.
So,
I love Troopers.
So is this the Mayfax Boba?
No, this is the Figu Arts Boba. I did this one shortly before or after that Cobb Vanth shot because it's the same diorama, and I really wanted to have something that was panoramic or at least wide angle and just kind of showed two separate scenes at the same focal length, so they're in focus, and then obviously the foreground's out of focus, but you can tell what's going on, right? So I was trying to like stretch the depth of field as best I could, and you can't see it, but I had this set up for probably like 3 weeks, and in the foreground on the far right, that out of focus is like a Jawa like running away, but he was just like, he didn't fit in the frame. And I was like, right, but he would totally be out if this happened, right? Like he's not sticking around to get blasted. And I just assumed that like, he's not necessarily, getting a bounty for wasting this stormtrooper, but they're after him for some reason, right? Or another. And with the hope that Book of Boba Fett was going to be an excellent series, I like just really started posting or taking more Boba Fett shots. So this is the result of that. This is actually in a book.
Like this one right here, like definitely is up my wheelhouse right here because I love the way that his lasers just going. It looks like it's going through that stormtrooper.
I forget.
So it's badass. Yeah.
It's on the bookshelf closest to the sliding door.
It's the book that we grabbed off of.
This is a charity book.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So Duffman in the chat, he wants to know your guys' Instagram. We'll let you guys tell us that at the end of the show, and then we'll also leave it in the description.
I always put it in the description and everything.
Yeah. So we'll do that, Duffman. So you'll have it. Oh, this is nice too. See, I love Wrecker's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, me too. Yeah, the Hot Toys Wrecker that came out is elite. Like that.
Yeah, I got him on
pre-order. Almost looks like Schwarzenegger in that sculpt. It's sick.
Yeah, I got him on pre-order.
Nice.
I can't wait. I think it's next year though, but.
Yeah, I saw you got your Yoda though. That thing's cool too.
Yeah, the Yoda's really. I got a steal on that. I had $100 credit that I didn't even know I had until I was checking out, and I was like, "Oh shit, $64."
So the book that Boba Fett shot's in is called Stop Wars, and one of the cats that is really, really good at toy photography, Umbara Photos, I believe. He put this together, and basically, Umbra. Sorry. Basically, it's a book that you can get on Amazon, but all of the proceeds went to a charity that is not only saving lives actively in the Ukraine, but also training folks to, treat combat wounds and things like that. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing to be invited to do. And, I plug that wherever I can because I think it's an awesome cause, and it's really cool that, the hobby gets its own little, like in hand kind of, showcase.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Shoot us over that info. We'll put that in the description also.
Sure, yeah. I'll just make a note of it.
Definitely. That's awesome.
I love this one too. Yeah.
Now, Joe, you want that as a print as well, right?
Probably.
So you might as well just print up one of each and.
So you probably shouldn't do the print thing because I'll spend too much money.
Notice the two very expensive members of the Bad Batch.
Well, so I was just telling them about when we went to that con and I saw the clone Commander Obi-Wan for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
And they wanted like $150 for it, and you stopped me. and which you rarely do, but like you did. So I didn't have Hunter and Crosshair. Not that Crosshair would be in this, but basically I just took, I don't even know what that hollow table is. It's like a old plastic container, tape, like masked the top of it. It was clear, and then painted the exterior, and then flipped it, painted the interior with just a flat clear, and then just set like a small light underneath of it to give the impression of, you know, them looking at a hologram, and then just added the hologram in post. So you get the effect of what it is that they're looking at, and there's nothing actually there.
Wow.
I feel like I'm looking at a scene out of a
Right.
out of
Out of the
the
show.
Right.
show or out of the movie.
Right. Wow.
It's beautiful. I love Bad Batch.
Me too.
Me too.
Characters are just so cool.
T-shirt. So this one I'm really proud of. So this is a combination of two dioramas that I bought, right? So we have the Ubiquitous in the foreground, and then we've got who makes the cardboard ones?
Sector 9, is that what? Oh,
Yeah, that's the name of the
it, but-
diorama. I forget who. Extreme Sets.
I think it's
Yeah.
Sets, yeah.
And they're pretty cheap. Like you can pick them up, they fold together, and like you can just kind of, they're modular, so you can pose them. But just the way that the subject came out in this shot, I was like, this looks like something out of a magazine. And you know, it's just, again, they're kind of screwing around pre or post op, and they're just catching up. And you know, obviously Crosshair is not there because he doesn't know what he's doing yet. He still doesn't. We have hope. We have hope for him.
We do.
We need a long shooter.
Yeah, this is definitely, yeah, I mean, another cool one here. I mean, and you know behind the scenes what goes on because you were in the Army. So this is like,
Yeah.
after, you know, before or after what's going on, you shoot the shit a little bit like this, and it's just a very it's just cool the way the foreground and the background, it's
Right.
very well done, man.
Yeah, I like the
Can't say it
composition.
enough.
The framing is really cool in that one, and I think
Mm.
that's what sold it. So the light in that image that's on in the foreground is not actually lit at all. That's all Photoshop.
Yeah.
So to
Oh,
make
wow.
it look like that, it's actually it takes a lot, but it comes out well, and that's really all that matters, I think.
It's
Yeah,
wild how big the community is getting because you're naming off all these creators and artists and stuff I've never heard of.
Wow.
It's kind of nice because, you know, we got our, like, obviously you're gonna know your people, we know our people,
Right. Oh yeah.
we're getting to hear new stuff, so it's cool.
Yeah. And now Duffman's following you, so that's another door open, and you
Nice.
guys can exchange things. And
Oh yeah.
Joel Haze even said earlier, if you need help or pointers, you know, or you can exchange pointers. And
Definitely.
that's what it's all about, man. So
Definitely. Oh yeah. I
You-
love, that's what I mean. That sense of tribe, that sense of community.
yeah, it's nice to
Have
bring
you guys
everybody together.
watched Spice Runners Lounge?
Yeah.
Okay, I just noticed there was a bunch of them in the chat, and they always bring on a lot of really good artists and stuff.
Yeah, and they have like a ton of cool stuff too. That's what I was talking about earlier. They just have like
Yeah.
props that I'm like, cool. Like I could sell a kidney and grab that real quick. I would, you know. I just don't think they're in good shape. So I'm like actually really proud of this. So I love obviously the original Obi-Wan, and my first Hot Toys ever was the Mythos Obi-Wan, and it's not what the hell's his name? The guy who plays Obi-Wan now.
Ewan.
Yeah, it's not Ewan McGregor. It's
Like a young Alec Guinness.
yeah, and I love that because Bridge Over the River Kwai is like one of my favorite movies. So I wanted that figure, and I wanted the Cantina set because they have a good likeness of the photoreal Alec Guinness Obi-Wan. And then where did I get this? Casting Cave, I believe, does incredible custom heads, and they're just for sale online. And is it Casting Cave or Customs Cave? I forget, one of them. But he had it, and I was like, I have to have this. I don't care what it costs. And it wasn't even that bad. So I had it forever, did nothing with it. And then I waited to try and get like a soft goods in 1/12 scale robe, like a Jedi robe, some pants. And I basically had to cut up like all these figures that I had, including a blank draw man, which is basically an artist's, you know, articulation model build him. So he's got pieces from actual Black Series Obi-Wan. He's got the undershirt's just something I made. And then he's got the robes, and the pants are, I should have written this down. I forget who made them. And then the cloak is Ironheart Studios or Mythos Boba. Like he's that's my dude. And the backpack's from the newer Black Series Obi-Wan. So like it just came together, and I made this, and that's the diorama you saw, Joe, that he's standing in.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
I built it, and I was like, I got to shoot this, and I wanted to shoot it outdoors before the East Coast apparently became Hurricane Central, and it just came out. It came out great because of that natural light.
Yeah, it looks great.
Jeez.
I just
And the imagination alone put into it. So that's really, really nice, man.
Yeah, it's
Another good one.
The custom heads
on Instagram, Casting Cave, and he has a link to his website. You can just go right into it. Oh yeah, and he's here too. He knew he had an appearance coming up. He was like, "Nah, folks." So obviously, everybody that knows Star Wars knows the end of season 2 Mando, and like how blown away by that, the majority of the non-hating community was. And
it's the one time we all
came
kind of, right? Like, yeah, like it felt like everybody was like finally gonna end it, right? Like, and it didn't happen. But when they showed him, I'd seen him on a review or something, like Foosh had him or something, and I was like, oh wow. I was like, I need that immediately. So that's when I really started the very shady back channel, like Pacific Rim retailers, where I'm sending these people money, and I may or may not get a premium action figure. So that's
makes it more fun, right? Makes
I mean, it's a gamble.
The element of surprise.
When it comes, it just makes it so much more enjoyable because
oh shit, it really came.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the Figuart Skywalker with now Ironheart Studios custom robe on, and his work is just like, he does all soft goods. So I'll take like the drape material that Hasbro throws on them, and it'll make just interchangeable parts for your figures, and they just sell because they're wired, so you can make it look like he's in motion, or that like his cape's like, or cloak's flapping in the breeze, and it's so sick. So I have a lot of that. I actually just put an order in him today.
It's amazing what just a soft goods cape will do for your figure. I wish McFarlane Toys would figure that out, but
yeah,
yeah. Do they ever have soft goods?
Once in a while, not for it doesn't seem like for their multiverse figures they do.
It's rare.
I know for my McFarlane's my Witcher figure from the Netflix series, that came with a soft goods like cloak.
That's good. Is it wired?
It does so much for the figure. I don't understand. It can't add that much to the cost of the figure. I mean, come on.
I would assume it's cheaper.
Right.
I'm
They're
always
not making it out of like cashmere.
Right.
Silk,
Yeah, like what?
They're charging you like they do, but
yeah, I want that Spawn set with the horse to go on sale. I just want the horse.
Yeah.
You guys can have the Spawn.
Oh, I love that. I want that Mythic Legion's moose.
Oh, with the Santa moose?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I have
that'll get you started right down that rabbit hole too.
Yeah, I have the Viking Santa on pre-order, and I have like such a secret thing that I'm gonna do with that.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of that. I'm not telling anyone. So if I ever get that action figure, it's so on. I can't So this is the one Derek was talking about, the Iron Battalion clones, right? And we had actually done some lighting experiments on this day, because usually our key is always in front of our figures. So we started just rim lighting with the key light. And that's why like everybody kind of stands out, even though they're out of focus. And you really get that aspect of, all right, we're either on our way to the mission. Well, no, they're definitely on their way to go do something dirty.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it just really came together, man.
Yeah, I like this one. This is good. I really like it. I have a thing for stormtroopers, man, clone troopers. So anything like that is going to stick out to me even more. And this is badass right here. Yes, I'd buy this one too.
Okay.
Is this the,
Well, at least you'll have Joe keeping you in business. So.
Hey, you know,
fine with
I have the whole. Me and Colin will buy them all, and we'll have the whole room plastered.
As long as you spread the
nice.
word. So
Oh.
again, so she's actually Tom, can you grab her? She's over there somewhere. So Uncle Sam Cantina, I was not going to send him my entire Jaina Solo figure because it's very hard to find. So I just sent him the head, and like the original sculpt wasn't terrible, but like it came back and it like looked like a real human woman. And I was like, oh man, like that's so like actually incredible, like what he could do.
Mm-hmm.
And like just throw a little gloss on her eyes and like, you know, like actually make it look like she has a mouth. And I was like, this is crazy, dude. I got to get her in like some kind of like you know, just real cocky pose because it's Han Solo's kid, right? So I threw that in real quick, and then obviously the Venator diorama sells everything. So
I thought you were gonna say he sent it back and it was too good, so you had to send him the rest of the figure to touch.
No, I custom the rest of the figure. I can't let anything look like brand new in the Star Wars universe.
Oh
Even
no,
like
yeah.
the way that the smoke is coming out of her pistol too.
Oh yeah,
out of her blaster.
Oh, here's another one. Nice. Oh
Yep.
yeah,
I like that too.
great.
yeah. So that really gives, you know, she was never worried about them.
Mm-mm.
I really like the lighting on this one. It looks really
So
cool.
purple was I tried to match the purple in her lightsaber hilt like as best I could with sort of the background and just kind of like let it play off of you know, just that far right side light, because you have to light everything in this diorama manually, right? So like the filter behind her is just a piece of opaque plastic, so that's a light source. Then you have to light the top, and then just adding that little kind of splash of purple in there, I think really made it cool.
Definitely. She's like, just 2 stormtroopers. I ain't worried about them.
Right.
They just look so cocky. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
There's something badass too about a lightsaber user using a pistol.
I know.
Instead. You know what I mean?
Yep. I could do this if I wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty gangster.
Oh, gotta have Ned B.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
this one we tried to shoot in a cave, like a cave diorama, and it was just too tight and it wasn't working. So like they ended up leaving for the night, and I think I stayed down here for like another hour, like trying to figure out like how I could just make this figure look good. And it was, again, just depth of field. So I pulled all the other stormtroopers and stuff that he was fighting like out of the shot, opened up the space, and then like lit it differently. And I was like, right. So if he came back after, you know, that fateful scene in Kenobi, like what would he be doing? Like he's got a renewed confidence. Look at him. That's a new man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
This Ned B20, dude. Like, you know, like so he's got the stormtrooper helmet, which is a Red Flare Models prop. Neil Wooding runs that site. They have great props, all really good work there. And that's just, you know, diorama work and a little repaint, a little weathering action on Ned B there, and some post effects, and you get it.
Yeah, he's got that look like he's walking down the runway at a
Oh yeah,
show, you know, like
he's like, I hope there's no other stormtroopers around here because I'll knock their head off too.
He's like the top Armani.
Oh yeah,
you know,
this is Versace, baby.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Like he's too sexy or something.
Right.
Yeah.
This one I like. So unfortunately, Yeah, I didn't have the same deal as Derek, and I only had one plain Phase 2 Clone Trooper. So I got this Figure Arts Anakin, which is, if you can get this figure, get it. It's elite. Like I don't love the one like interchangeable face he has, but the rest of it I absolutely love. Ironheart Customs robe, obviously, but that Phase 2 Clone Trooper is actually just copied and pasted in that image. There's not 4 of them there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to make it look like he's like storming the temple, you know.
Right,
so
right.
I wanted to make it look like he had like at least a few dudes with him to sell the shot a bit.
Yeah, I love the robe. The robe's awesome.
Yeah, that's Ironheart. He's got really good stuff. He actually just restocked. So if anybody needs soft goods, go to Ironheart.
Definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because like the Figure Arts Anakin is just like you just said, it's like an incredible, and it's probably around the same price as the Black Series Anakin is on like the aftermarket.
Oh, the archive one right now?
Yeah, like either one of them.
Yeah,
They're like $100.
Yeah, I'd rather just buy the Figure Arts and have it be done with. Like that's
Yeah.
why I was selling my Black Series, because I have the Figure Arts now and I don't collect just to collect in box.
Right.
All right.
It
Yeah.
feels like wrong to hold on to it.
I love you can see like the glare from the lightsaber off his face.
Oh yeah. Yep. And he's got like this, like you can't zoom because it's like it's all screen quality. It's formatted for Instagram, so the quality will be deteriorated. But
Yeah.
like I went back in and like highlighted his eyes with yellow in post so that they stood out as, you know, the Sith eyes.
Oh yeah, I think you can kind of tell, like
Yeah.
you can see they stand out a little bit. Definitely looks really good. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, so this is the face that
Oh,
this makes or breaks it for people.
Yeah.
It's a little anime-ish, right? Like, but you don't ever get figures with like an expression.
Right.
And I was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, all right, I got the Boba Fett SH Figure Arts, and the head was small, but I love that figure, so I'll take a gamble. And I was like, maybe I can sell it. And I mean, like maybe, you know, the guy needs some rhinoplasty, but it'll be all right.
Yeah, that head sculpt. I don't know. I don't know. I'm on the fence with that one.
Looks
Mhm.
like
The
he
pose
just
is great. The picture's great. It's just that head sculpt. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely brings some life to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Centerpoint Studios, he's another one I work with a lot. Like
Mhm.
he does a lot of custom heads on the QT, and like he did two Anakin sculpts for this figure. I haven't put them on yet just because like life gets busy, right? So I'll probably reshoot with his head on there, but it doesn't have like the yelling expression.
Right.
It just looks like he stole a pot of gold.
I know, like kind of. Well, show me.
Yeah, right.
You know, left kind of
Give
like
me
that.
your Republic credits.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I feel like you can use that expression for a few different ways, you know.
Right. Yeah. Like he could be like laughing. He could. You know,
Right. Evil. I mean,
in pain.
Maybe Obi-Wan's cracking dad jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Wow. Awesome.
Definitely some nice work. So we're a little over the hour. What do you think? Do you stay on a little bit, or you want to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna
or-
stay on. I just got to run to the bathroom real quick, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you're leaving it to us.
Yeah,
well,
you
we
guys
won't. We
can
won't
break
stay on
it up.
too much longer. 'Cause I know Colin. He's on vacation, so
Are you on vacation?
yeah, he's on vacation.
Working on
We don't-
vacation.
We just don't take vacation on this show, but he's on vacation.
Staycation.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. Go do your thing.
All right,
Tom and I
good.
will.
I'll be right back.
Well,
We'll look at a few more and then
Yeah,
we'll wrap it up. But yeah, I can look at these all night.
I'm gonna pull up the Instagram.
hmm
Let's see here.
dogs.
I'm surprised mine have been going. I've been muting my microphone because my dog's got
They
nuts.
say hello.
Jesus. And then my wife's yelling at him like, "Shut up!" Like,
The same exact thing is happening upstairs.
Yeah.
His wife.
yeah, I got like a 10-year-old lab and a 2-year-old lab, and the little one drives him crazy, like absolutely bonkers most
Yeah.
of the time, man. So it's tough.
So yeah, so right here, I think Tom is utilizing his Tatooine sets that he concocted
Mhm.
to also serve as the backdrop for Indiana Jones.
And it works, yeah.
Which
Oh,
is really
hell
cool
yeah.
about
Awesome.
the Tatooine sets is that they really are multifunctional. You could use them in like GI Joe settings, Indiana Jones. What other things am I thinking of?
I mean, I even just seeing like the greenery in the background of that one, like it is cool that like you can take it from desert, planet, landscape, and just here it's like, oh, it looks like it's a temple in South America or
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yeah, right.
I
Like
mean, you
in
can
the
use it for
rainforest.
anything. Yeah, I mean, you get shit. You can use it for mythic legions. You could put turtles there. I mean, who
Sure.
says you can't? You know, it's
Yeah.
all about your imagination and what you want to do. But yeah, you can use it for pretty much anything, really.
Yeah, we did. I'm trying to think of like some non-Star Wars stuff that we did. Did you guys
Terminator.
already do the Terminator shot?
Nah,
No,
Yeah.
this is the first time we're doing any. Which one you want to do? Do
Oh
both?
yeah, so that
it's the Digirama one.
the Terminator. Okay, so that one, I remember that day we kind of tried to make it look like like a battle scene shot in the future. I guess in the Terminator franchise, and I think we used the TV as the backdrop.
Yeah, I
right?
was explaining them the diorama concept.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. And then that's the Mafex, obviously T1 Terminator, and then this one was super fun to do the
Well, it's really cool that we found a tech noir like
backdrop.
digital recreation, right? Like I was
Right.
like, oh, we have to use this, dude. Like,
Right.
there's no way that we're
It-
not using this.
It came out so good. Like it was just super fun to just drop it.
Yeah,
right
like it's
into that.
like definitely not to scale, but at the same time, I don't really care because it's incredible.
Plus this figure is just like I went into a Target the other day and there's actually the NECA version of this.
Yeah.
Like has been popping up, and it is really good. It looks really good. But the Mafex one, we were just like having a shit ton of fun with this. That
Yeah,
day.
for a minute I thought yours was NECA when I saw the NECA one.
Yeah, then I stopped when I popped in Target. I like just looked at it for a minute. It was like,
Yeah.
this is really good. I mean, like NECA, obviously, I don't need to be singing their praises. They're obviously great. Everybody knows.
I like them. Yeah, I like.
Oh, yeah. I would assume that the posing is better on this one, though. Hey.
Yeah. It's easier. Like the joints are stiffer. I think. Like it'll hold a pose versus like just kind of be loose and
Right.
crappy.
Good amount of accessories with this one.
Mhm.
Swappable stuff.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
NECA's quality has not been that good lately.
Really?
That
to
depends
me.
who you are.
Yeah.
Depends who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up like because I love the Jaws series that they did, and I picked up the Quint, and I was like super impressed with that. I'm sure Robert Shaw's still filed for bankruptcy, but like it was good. And then like obviously they did the 2 Matt Hooper figures, and I don't know that we'll ever get Martin Brody figure just because of Roy Scheider's I guess family or
Yeah.
something.
And I don't understand that. Like, why wouldn't you? Like,
Yeah,
It's an interesting.
don't immortalize my relative ever.
right?
Okay.
Like you think you'd be more than happy to. Like, yeah, go for it. I would.
Well,
I
he
would
was in
be.
2 of them. Like,
Right.
Right.
money could have been that bad.
Well,
Right.
it's like that's what he's known for. I mean,
Oh, and the French Connection.
yeah. I know. Like when I see a picture of him, though, I think Jaws.
Yeah.
Did you guys already look at the that one clone shot? It's in the middle.
Yeah, the bottom middle. We'll talk about that one for a little bit.
Oh, right here.
That
Yeah.
one right there. So this
one?
one was
Yeah.
a lot of fun. So it was just like some Republic commandos. I think the week we did this one, the droid that he's shooting It's like the one from the Republic Commando video game. Like it's like a GameStop exclusive. I remember picking it up, and it was like it wasn't street dated yet. And the kid was like, "Yeah, whatever, I'll sell it to you." I was like, "Oh man, we gotta shoot this." Right. And then the background, you can kind of see like a droid tank crashed, and then of course the LAT gunship. Those are just micro galaxy, like the Jazzware MGS stuff,
which we love.
We're huge fans of those. I don't know if anyone in here collects them. They're super fun, relatively cheap.
Yeah, those are awesome. I don't collect them because it's like another rabbit hole to go down. But
they
are cool.
Yeah, we're suckers.
It's another alternative to the vintage collection vehicles.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I remember when they released the Falcon, and I was like, I'm not gonna buy that, dude. It's just a Falcon. And I watched like the ad for it. It was like, no, it lights up and it has sound, and then you can open it. I was like, sold. I think we like went to Walmart like that night, my wife and I was like, there it is,
on the way.
Yeah. Well, the thing that's been like that gripped me with them was they did that the one gunship that's like the 2D Clone Wars that like shark looking one.
Oh, it's got the nose.
The Munalist, like whatever gunship. Like as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh dude, they're doing the Tartakovsky 2D Clone Wars stuff. Like I'm all in on that.
Yeah, they have two of the ones with nose art and then like a standard. Right?
Yeah, they had like a few different like variations that I think a lot of them are like Target exclusives. Of course.
Gotta love the exclusives. I wish they would stop with that shit already.
Oh, what did you say about Walgreens the other day that they're closing?
Oh, they're closing like 450 stores, but if they allowed more Black Series exclusives to be available to the people, they'd probably, they would definitely stay open thanks to the Black
that
Series.
would keep them alive.
That would keep them open for sure.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah.
Not that many people are buying sunblock, let me tell you.
No.
Definitely.
Sunblock and readers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you say? A pharmacy.
A pharmacy.
That was the.
So yeah, that's a Mafex Boba again.
I really like that Boba Fett. That is cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find it, like you may have to go, like I said, Pan Pacific for that one, just because.
Well, little plug here. I think nerdzoic.com might have them in stock. I don't know.
Oh, I might have to send him a message.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So or if not, then like I think like Plaza something, Hobby Link Japan, they usually they'll pop up. And I mean, like if you can find it, if you're buying it in yen, you're going to pay $12 standard to ship it across the ocean, but it's worth it because that figure is probably worth way more than that. Not only in terms like monetarily, but also just quality, right? Like it's insane how good that figure is.
It's like I saw you. I remember I came over here one night, and
it's like it's like the day or two after I got it.
Yeah, and I remember you just being like, "Dude, you got to see this thing," and I immediately was like, I got to get my hands on one of these. Like the Black Series ones, like just don't even compare. I think there's an Empire and a Return of the Jedi version now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they have one of each Mafex.
Slide down some D stuff rolled out. But like again, like this was a hopeful Mandalorian season 3 premise, right? Like I was kind of trying like go War of the Bounty Hunters or like, just go with like the Legends theme of, like, and this is the setup, the Legends theme of like what would happen in Mando season 3 since we had Book of Boba Fett, and it just fell short.
Awesome. So awesome.
I like BTS videos because people always get a kick out of that.
I love seeing how it's done. Oh, you used the wire for that, huh?
Yeah. Pull the
kind of what
curtain
drew
back.
me. It's kind of what originally drew me into it, because once I saw, kind of like how a magician reveals his trick, you're like, like it's not difficult.
Right.
But yeah, this one was just, I think we just had some officers laying around him throwing, and I was like, we got to work going in somehow. And then I just like worked out one guy had an image of Darth Vader. I think it was like an action figure, like from behind, like what he looked like from behind. And I'm like, all right, dude, we'll throw him up on the hologram in post and then just like move the transparency down so it looks like he's actually there, which it's tough to see on like a smaller screen.
Yeah.
But
It's cool that you did this though, because like, you know, a lot of people, you know, they go after all the big characters, you know, just to see a picture of some officers. I like it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Different.
And then, yeah, this is the layer engagement. So you'll see Vader and then the light. So it's all in post. Like it's not real.
Jeez.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, here's that. This is that book, eh?
Yeah, that's Stop Wars. So this is like the press kit that got sent out with it. So it's linked here. It's like linked on Umbra's. It's linked pretty much throughout like everybody's account that had anything to do with it. I'm fairly certain for like the
We'll definitely throw all the information in the description.
Yeah, and you could just get it right on Amazon. And there's like a ton of good stuff in there. It's not just Star Wars. Like there's Street Fighter, Marvel, DC.
Awesome.
I think there's like some G.I. Joe, Power Rangers stuff. Predator is always like a big one.
Oh yes, sold.
Like a
Sold.
Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator. Yeah.
Hell yeah, definitely be picking up a copy of that.
Cool.
What else we
I
got
love-
here?
I love it. Like there's, you know, there is a lot going on in the pictures, but it's not like they're not overcrowded or anything. It's
Yeah.
just, you know, I love it.
Yeah, it's funny because some of them will fall like short. I feel like once we actually get them out there, just because that's a NECA figure. I love that Halloween figure. Just because.
Yeah, I have that one. I have that one over on the shelf. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. With the grave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
But yeah, like some of them, like we're like, oh, this is it. This is the shot, and then like we'll look at it, and I'm like, it kind of sucks. We're like, we'll still put it out there, you know, like somebody might think it's cool, but like, I don't know. It's just, you know, like you can't be on all the time. And it's definitely like my advice to anybody that wants to do this is like, don't force yourself. Oh, there's me and you.
Yeah.
To like go out and like I have to shoot, I have to do it, because then you'll lose interest in it. Like really what you got to do is just shoot when you have time, like shoot when everybody, like if you're doing it with your friends, like when people are available, you know, like you don't want to force it because then it gets like really, really old.
And it becomes work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what we work enough as it is.
Well, it's nice you guys got like a little group, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, that's perfect.
So Tom and I had a mutual friend, and I did an interview for the local news station, 6ABC, on May the 4th. And the kid came in and like we like checked out my office, and like it was basically just this. Like, what are you doing like with all these toys as a grown man? Like, should you be reported? And I was like, we're good, trust me. And you know, they just kind of like put it on the news, and I was like, whatever, dude. It's just a local news story. It'll be on at like 3:00. No, it was on like the 6:00 news for May the 4th because Disney owns ABC. So I was like, oh, and my phone was just blowing up, dude. I'm at the Phillies game last year, and I was like, uh-oh. You know, like I was like, what just happened? So Tom reached out to me on Instagram. He's like, hey, you know this guy? I'm like, yeah. So I used to just buy his loose like Star Wars figures at first. He's like, I don't trust this dude. And then I was like, I let him know, you know, like, hey, if you ever want to come over and shoot, we can do that. And Derek got roped into it. And now I've even got Derek building dioramas.
I know.
So he's getting the full treatment, the full compliment.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
No
Well,
other
Well,
way.
guys, we're over the hour.
Yeah.
But go, just tell everybody in the chat and whoever's listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because this will go up on those as well.
Cool.
Tell
Yeah.
everybody
So,
where to find you guys and on Instagram and what have you. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's at old.tom.solo on Instagram. It's where I post probably 99.9% of my stuff, unless I'm lucky enough to get invited to something like this by you guys. So yeah, feel free to follow, share it, like it, comment. Let me know what I can do better specifically. And I generally like to engage with a lot of the people that do that. So if you follow me, it's likely I'll follow you, and if you leave a comment, we'll likely start a good dialogue. So I look forward to generating some new followers and certainly making some new friends along the way.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely. We'll have to have you guys back on where we just we do shows where we just talk shit. So.
Oh yeah,
We're the king.
I thought that's what this was gonna be.
No, you've seen nothing yet. You've seen.
Oh, I love.
We
that.
gotta come back.
Go back and watch some of our other ones.
All right.
This was like the interview for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we're in.
We're cool
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
You're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not the tops.
Love that. Keep an eye out for HasLab's release of their mysterious vehicle.
The Ghost.
To be
Yeah.
Ghost, but back the HasLab, because if you don't, I'm pretty sure we're not going to see anything else for a really long time. As far as
I don't
Just sell me the
I
thing.
don't blame people if they don't back them for that stupid.
I have a feeling this one's going to be really expensive.
Yeah,
like
I'm-
$500-600.
I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
even more.
I'm gonna have to think of a lot of side gigs. Anyway, I don't want to
Yeah.
keep you guys.
You just gotta start.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi.
Tell us where we can find all of you. Go ahead.
Oh, you could. Mine is just T Mallory. It's TMILOREY.
Mhm.
It's just my personal, but I post some like I do some digital art that's just like tattoo flash style things, and I do like some theme sheets on there too.
Yeah, he's got horror. You got Star Wars. You got a lot of cool stuff out
Some
there.
Dragon Ball.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
what's another one? I can't remember what it was,
Yeah.
but some fun stuff.
I don't really have anything on my Instagram, but you can follow me at Anti-Monitor. I've had people try to buy my Instagram handle because of obvious reasons, because the price is on Infinite Earths, and I said, "Ain't happening, bruh." Yeah, that's where we're at.
Wait, is that real? I didn't
Yeah,
know
man.
that.
Like this soccer player tried to. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Anyway,
All
Awesome.
right. Well, thank you guys for your time tonight. I really appreciate it. Awesome work by
Yeah,
all three of
thank
you.
Thanks, guys.
It was great meeting you guys. At
Yeah,
the
you too.
con,
As well.
And
Thanks for having us.
glad I got to work with you on this diorama. So
Yep, I'll be in
can't wait
touch
to
for
get
sure
that in.
soon. Actually,
Yeah. Definitely. But next week, July 12th, we're gonna have Chris Burfield. He goes by Burf, 80s Toy Rock. He'll be with us again at 9 p.m. We had a great conversation with him last time, and we're not done with him. We're going to talk some more nostalgia and probably video games and all the shit we did when we were kids, tearing
Still
shit
going
up
back.
and building forts and all that, just like last time. So that was a cool conversation. And
I
we'll
really
have him
enjoyed
back
listening
on.
to that one. That was a fun one to listen to. So keep bringing
Thank
him
you.
on, because I'll keep
Yeah.
listening.
Who's that?
So many stories.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, for now, that's what FM figures. Thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. Colin, good job, and we'll see you next week. And we'll
right.
say our goodbyes backstage.
all right. Take
Thanks
care,
everybody.
folks.
Yep.